Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to talk about the 5 bullet journaling mistakes that I made, which caused me to stop using my bullet journal for a year. Disclaimer: the things that I'm about to say are just my opinions based on my personal experience. This video is not meant to shade anyone's style of bullet journaling because everyone has their own way of filling in their journals. What works for one person may not work for another person. So, with that out of the way, let's begin. Number 1. Doing it for the aesthetic. I used to try so hard to make my bullet journal look like a scrapbook. I decorated them with stickers, pictures, washi tapes, etc. At first I had fun with it, but as time went by, I began to feel pressure to decorate my journal even more and make it look as cute as the ones I saw on the internet. This pressure made me afraid to continue using my bullet journal because I thought I could only continue writing in it once I had finished decorating it. After reading the bullet journal method, I realized that bullet journaling is not about the aesthetic, it's about the function. It doesn't need to look good, and I don't need to show the content of my bullet journal to anyone else. It's completely okay to make your bullet journal look artsy as long as you don't feel overwhelmed by it, but personally for me, I prefer to keep it simple and functional instead of aesthetically pleasing but ended up being neglected. Number 2. Afraid of ruining an expensive journal. In my second year of bullet journaling, I decided to invest more money into my bullet journal because I thought if I spent more money on it, I would be more motivated to use it. So I bought this bullet journal from a brand which I cannot pronounce, so I'm not even gonna try. It cost me around $36, and while it may not seem that expensive to some people, it was very expensive for me because once I converted the price to my country's currency, it became like $500,000, which was a lot. Anyway, because this journal was so expensive for me, I became afraid of carrying it around with me because I didn't want the cover to get scratched up inside my backpack. I tried putting it inside a pouch, but it still managed to get scratched by some things, so the cover didn't look smooth anymore. Because of that, I would always end up leaving this bullet journal at home, and a lot of the times I would forget to fill it in with reminders and notes because I never had this with me in my backpack, so it was never around when I needed to write in it. And so last year, I bought a much more affordable bullet journal, which only cost me around $9. I've never been afraid of taking this journal in my bag because I didn't care if the cover got ruined. It's cheap anyway. I've also bought the same journal in a different color for 2020, which is the one I'm using now. Number 3. Useless trackers. I got the idea of using trackers such as Habit Tracker and Mood Tracker from Pinterest, and I tried them out because they seem to be productive and not to mention cute. However, since the things I put in the tracker are the things that I was already doing out of habit, it felt useless to record them in my bullet journal. Some examples are mopping the floor, wiping the furniture, reading the Bible, drinking vitamins, etc. I already had dedicated days to do those things anyway, so there was no need for me to track them. It was just a waste of pages and time. As for my mood tracker, since I already write in my diary every day, filling in a mood tracker seemed redundant. Plus, I would always have trouble determining my happiness level. For example, if I felt really happy one day, when I filled in my mood tracker, I would think, does this happiness I'm feeling deserves a 10? What if I become happier tomorrow? I will have to revise yesterday's mood entry. But what if I become even happier the next day? Will I need to revise it again? What should I do? Oh my god, make it stop! I know, for some people, this may seem like such a silly and trivial thing to fret about, but this is just the way my mind tends to overthink most of the time, and unfortunately, I cannot change that. And that is why putting in the mood tracker in my bullet journal is more vexing to me rather than useful or fun. Number 4. Getting sidetracked with random pages. The point of bullet journaling is to keep track of things, plan ahead, and make our lives more organized. However, with all the bullet journal inspiration I took from Pinterest and other online sources, instead of using my bullet journal to plan things, I ended up using it as more of a leisure book because I fill it in with so many random things. Mood tracker, habit tracker, books to read, anime to watch, inspiring quotes, cosplay ideas, things to buy, and so on and so on. I had put in so many random pages in my bullet journal, which caused me to lose the energy and motivation I had in me when the time came to actually start planning for my day. I thought since bullet journal is supposed to be versatile, it should be okay to put everything into it. And although this may work fine for other people, it certainly didn't work for me because I ended up forgetting to use my bullet journal for its original purpose, which is to keep my life organized. So in last year's bullet journal, instead of dedicating many pages for fun and random things, I decided to use my bullet journal solely to plan things. I planned for my days, travel, scholarship, and other things I needed to get done or take notes of. This helps me stay more focused and not get distracted by the miscellaneous things I included in my bullet journal. Number 5. Not being flexible enough. People's methods of bullet journaling may differ from one another because what works for one person may not work for another person. My problem was, instead of being flexible enough to change my bullet journaling method once I found that other people's methods didn't work well for me, I kept sticking to it in hopes of eventually being able to adapt to it, when I should have just changed it to the method that worked for me, which was the simple, basic, and non-artistic method. The reason why I didn't change my method was because it would make my journal look inconsistent and not aesthetically pleasing. So I waited until a year later to change my method once I got a new bullet journal. And as a result, I wasted months of planning because of my perfectionism. Eventually, I realized that it shouldn't have mattered whether my bullet journal looked inconsistent or not, as long as I could use it to keep my life organized. So those were the mistakes I did in bullet journaling as well as the solutions to them. I hope you guys found them helpful. Again, I don't have any intention to shade anyone with this video, nor claim that my way of bullet journaling is the best. Everyone has their own preference and method when it comes to bullet journaling. Just because some people happen to have artistic bullet journals and I don't, doesn't mean my bullet journal is more effective and efficient. It all comes down to how you manage to organize your life with bullet journaling. And I know that for a lot of people, having an artistic bullet journal makes them more motivated to plan in it, and that's awesome! More power to them! So that's all from me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you for those of you who have subscribed to me. If you haven't, then be sure to click on my face below. Don't forget to like this video and share with your friends if you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you on my next one. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye bye!